Hello, this is Brandy Robinson, and this is my project final presentation. In Java, you have static variables and methods and non-static or instant variables and methods. The difference is static variables are declared with the static keyword in a class. There is only one copy of it, no matter how many objects are created from it. The non-static or instant variables are created when an object is created with the use of the keyword new and destroyed when the object is destroyed. Here is an example from my code. For the static, in my population control class, I have the static method of feed the people. When I call it from my feed the people view, I call the method by using population control class, feed the people method, and bushels for food parameters. For an instant variable, we have created a location array of arrays called locations, which equals a new empty array of location objects with the size of the dimension of arrays, which would be our number of rows and our number of columns. We now fill the array with location objects that are specific locations on our map. I have shown just 5 of the 25 different locations on our map, and these are each new objects and are instant variables because each is a unique and new location on our map. Arrays versus array lists versus enums. The difference between an array list, and an enum class is an array is a fixed length list of items or elements. These items can be either primitive values or objects, but must be of the same data type. Items in the array can be dynamically changed or modified. They are referenced by their index position starting at 0. An array list is a variable length list of objects only. You can dynamically add or remove objects from the list. The elements are also referenced by index position. An enum. An enum is a special Java class that allows you to create fixed length constant lists. The elements stored in the list can never change. They are not referenced by index, but are referenced by the name assigned to each element at creation. Because we are not adding or removing anything to our lists, we did not use an array list in our code. We have created arrays for our map, tools, animals, and provisions. We have 2 enum classes that are constants, the conditions of our inventory items and types of items that we have in our inventory. For and for each loops. A for loop is used to navigate or iterate through a list of items. It loops through the list until the condition set is satisfied. A for each loop is used to iterate through arrays more easily. It doesn't need to have any conditions set, as it will only loop through the number of items in an array. For my loop example, the for loop first initializes the counter variable I to 0. This represents the rows of our map array and repeats the block of code enclosed within the parentheses, while the value of I is less than the length of the locations array. For the for repetition statement increments the counter variable after each repetition through the loop. The J represents the columns of our array. So as it goes through, it starts with the I and then increments through that way. They are each printed. As each loop iterates through each object of the array, it prints out a part of the array until we have our full array printed. Our for each loop example. The for each loop is a variable. The for each loop, a variable is first defined within the parentheses. The value of this variable always points to the current element in the array for the next iteration through the loop. It must be of the same data type as the elements in the array. This is followed by a colon and a variable that references the array that you want to iterate through. As you can see here, I have my inventory item array, and my tool is what I'm calling it. And then I have created the new object, and I have 5 inventory items. I chose the loop for my map array because I only wanted the symbol of the locations printed out. I chose the for each loop for my tool array because I wanted all of the information about my tools printed out. Throw errors. In my population control class for my feed the people method, I have it throwing an exception if the number of bushels is less than 0, or if the amount of bushels is more than what is available in the storehouse. I then catch the error in my feed the people view. If the amount is less than 0, it prints out a message that you need to enter a positive number. And if it is more than what is in the storehouse, it prints out a message that they do not have enough wheat. If an error has been made, it lets them put a number that will work. When you propagate an exception up the call stack, the throws clause in the function signature tells Java to propagate the error up to its calling function. The throw clause in that function causes the error to propagate to its calling function, and finally the throws clause in that function sends it to the first calling function. The error is then caught in the try-catch statement of the error exception clause, and the code is executed to handle the error without causing our program to crash. Character streams versus byte streams. When writing a character stream allows you to read and write more than 1 byte of data at a time. It supports the ASCII and Unicode format. Unicode supports all languages. A byte stream reads and writes binary data 1 byte at a time in sequential order. They may be used to read and write character data stored in ASCII format, which only supports Western-based languages such as English, French, German, and Spanish. All right, when writing character data to an external file, I first have the code written in the format I would like the report printed out as. As you can see here, I have that I'm going to have the print writer output my information to a new print writer object, which is the new file writer where we get the file name from the user that they input. I'm going to output that it's a tool report and that I want the tool name, quantity, and condition. This is just a line separating them. Then I have a for each loop that iterates through each item and pulls out, and it gets the name of the tool, it gets the quantity of that tool, and it gets the condition of that tool, and then we'll print it out in the format that I have set. So up here, when the user goes into the reports menu and selects option 4 to get a report of their tools, they will be asked what type they will be asked to type in the name of the name of the report file that they would like it under. They enter that information, which becomes the tool file name, and that is under then it goes to the city of Erin, get current game, get the storehouse and all the list of the tools, and then it replaces all, and this //s gets rid of all of our empty spaces and things and just condenses it together. If they've capitalized anything, this will cause it to all go to lowercase, and then this adds the .txt thing to it. Then it will print out, saving report as, and then it will tell the user what file name they put in, and then it will add the txt to it, and then it will let them know that the report has been saved. Along with that, it'll also print to the console what the whole list of all the tools that they are, the what condition it is, the quantity, and that it is the item type is that it is a tool. And when it prints out, it looks like this. Now let's go ahead and run part of my program. A new game. I'm just going to type in my initials. And right here it tells me what my current year, it's my player name. I'm starting at the storehouse. I have 1,000 acres owned, wheat and storage is 3,000, and current population is 100. Let's go ahead, and I want to view the map. So here, it tells me that on your map, you'll be able to locate the village, the temple, the wheat fields, any undeveloped land, the river, the storehouse, and the area where you hold court. Here's my map key, and here is my map array. Let's go ahead and view my inventory. And I did tools. I'm very proud of that. So I will go to my tools and storehouse, and here again, inventory item gives me the names of all of my inventories. Item type, it is a tool. It gives me all the quantities, and it gives me the condition that those tools are in. And again, it's asking me what I'd like to name my report. And I'm going to do and see, I put in a capital T and it changed it to a lowercase, and it tells me my report has been saved. I'm going to return back to my game, and let's manage crops. I think I would like to feed the people. It says you have selected to feed the people. How many bushels of grain do you want to feed? Well, just to show you that my exceptions work, I'm going to put in a -30. It says error, please enter in a positive number. All right, well, let me see. I'm going to put in 3,500. I do not have enough wheat to feed the people. I need to put in the amounts. Let's put in 1,050 bushels. It now tells me I have 1,950 bushels of wheat left. All right, let's return. And I'm going to save my game. It says please type in what you'd like your game saved as, and we're going to put in pickles, just for a fun name. It says saving game as, game has been saved, and at the end this is what our current year looks like. I return to the main menu, and I'm going to quit. And this is Brandy Robinson, and this is my project. Thank you.